Japan provides financial aid worth $63,000 for Laos Cherry Blossom Garden. The Japanese government donated $63,000 to build a fence and install outdoor lights at the Lao-Japan Friendship Cherry Blossom Garden at a ceremony in Viengze District, Houaphanh Province on Tuesday. The security measures will be tightened to prevent animals from bypassing a weak fence and damaging the cherry blossom trees and intruders from breaking in to steal them. According to Mr. Kobayashi Kenichi, the Japanese ambassador to Laos, this assistance is a new step towards further improving the long-standing friendship between Japan and Laos. Mr. Vanekse Fengsuma, the governor of Houaphanh Province, expressed his gratitude for Japan's consistent contributions to the socio-economic development of the province. He emphasized the importance of this assistance, saying that it would play a pivotal role in attracting more tourists to visit the region. Houaphanh Province has benefited from various forms of support from the Japanese government, including the inception of the Cherry Blossom Garden, which has evolved into a symbol of the enduring friendship between Laos and Japan, contributing to tourism development and scientific research opportunities for local children. Over the past 5 years, Japan's support to Houaphanh Province has surpassed $730,000, spanning various sectors, including education, public health, agriculture, and water supply. Cherry blossom was designated as Houaphang's provincial flower time in December 2022, and 150 cherry blossom trees were planted by the governments of Laos and Japan on January 25 of this year to strengthen relations between Laos and Japan. Laos to benefit from Singapore's renewable energy shift. As ASEAN countries move away from fossil fuel consumption and toward renewable energy sources, Laos is poised to benefit from this environmentally friendly trend. According to Nikkei Asia, Singapore, a city-state whose primary source of energy is natural gas, 95%, is aiming to import 30% of its energy supply from 4 gigawatts of low-carbon electricity by 2035. This has allowed countries like Laos, which has been increasing its renewable power generation capacity, to benefit greatly. Around 80% of the electricity produced by Laos is sold to neighboring countries, Thailand and Vietnam, accounting for about 30% of the country's total exports. However, Laos has now prepared transmission infrastructure to export power to Cambodia, and it has been supplying electricity to Singapore since 2022. The latter began last year with the start of the Laos-Thailand-Malaysia-Singapore Power Integration Project, LTMS-PIP, which will transfer 100 megawatts of power from Laos to Singapore over 2 years. The developed infrastructure to send power to Cambodia will also be used in the future to export more energy to Singapore through Cambodia. In addition, Laos has also begun construction on a $700 million wind power project, called the Monsoon Wind Power Project. This will be the largest wind power plant in Southeast Asia, with a capacity to produce 600 megawatts of power, which will be mainly exported to Vietnam, which has recently suffered from chronic energy shortages. Ultimately, the generation and increased export of renewable energy are aimed at creating the ASEAN power grid, facilitating multilateral power trading in the region. Furthermore, cross-border renewable energy deals diversify supply throughout the region, providing more protection against natural disasters and geopolitical risks. Hiroshi Takahashi, a professor at Japan's Hosei University specializing in renewable energy policy, referred to a cross-border electrical grid as a form of collective energy security, and sees ASEAN as a good fit for such a project. Laos to join regional summit to bolster anti-drug cooperation along borders. Senior anti-drug police officers from Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia will meet in Vietnam next month to discuss cooperation on anti-drug trafficking measures along border areas in the region. According to Cambodian Anti-Drug Department Chief Lieutenant General Kung Sereth, the meeting scheduled for October 5 will be held over 4 days in Ho Chi Minh City. Lieutenant General Sereth expressed his optimism that the discussion will increase cooperation to combat drug trafficking along borders between the 4 countries. We must tighten controls and closely monitor all border crossing points, international checkpoints, and international airports to the greatest extent possible in order to combat the import and export of drugs into each nation, he said. The majority of the drugs imported into Cambodia originate from the Golden Triangle in Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar, he explained, adding that Cambodia has served as a major center for drug traffickers to transport drugs to other countries. Moreover, the majority of narcotics confiscated by Cambodian authorities originate from smuggling routes along the borders of neighboring countries. We expect to be able to combat or reduce drug trafficking in Cambodia if we can cooperate with our neighboring countries to strengthen monitoring of all border corridors, international border checkpoints, including land, sea, air, and international airports, Lieutenant General Sarath said. As Cambodia has seen an influx of narcotics over the past few years, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet announced earlier this month that his government would prioritize drug-related issues and will do everything possible to combat and eradicate narcotics in Cambodia. Laos confirms first case of monkeypox, Ministry of Health issues guidelines. The Lao Ministry of Health, MO, issued a notice today confirming the first case of monkeypox infection in the country, involving an individual with a history of travel to neighboring countries where monkeypox cases have been reported earlier. According to the notice, the first case of monkeypox infection was recorded on September 8. However, the ministry has not provided any further information about the patient. To prevent the spread of monkeypox, all provinces and Vientiane capital have been instructed to assess initial risk and prepare outbreak response to tackle new cases of the viral disease. The notice also urged all hospitals across the country, including public and private health facilities at all levels, to be on high alert for fever and rash-like symptoms. If any patient displays such signs, they must be immediately reported, and samples must be collected for testing at the National Center for Laboratory and Epidemiology. In the meantime, the hospitals must check the readiness of their laboratories and sample collection equipment to ensure that they can quickly and accurately verify the results of monkeypox infection tests. Hospitals, especially those in provinces with international checkpoints, are advised to be prepared with necessary medical equipment, protective gear, and testing kits, the notice states. Additionally, Mo called on relevant parties to campaign for public awareness about the harmful effects of monkeypox and educate residents on how to protect themselves. According to the Center of Information and Education for Health, the most common symptom of monkeypox is a rash that usually starts on the face and then spreads to other parts of the body. Other symptoms include fever, headache, muscle ache, backache, swollen lymph nodes, chills, and exhaustion. To avoid getting monkeypox, individuals are advised to avoid contact with people who are sick and display symptoms of the disease and wash their hands often with soap and water. Thank you for the news from the Laotian Times.